afraid to leave her house. So I was paying her $5,000 a month for about a year now. What a
Yeah,
waste of 60 grand. There you go.
exactly. That's what happens. That's what happens. So, everybody, this is Gordon Fletcher. We're super lucky to have Gordon here today. Everybody, if you put your cameras on, that would be great. And Gordon, this is a class. It's fundamentals of marketing for non-business majors. This will be kind of I'll do a walk down memory lane with you with some things, but we're super lucky to have Gordon. I think Gordon, he's a real force of nature. You're going to enjoy your time here with Gordon. He's somebody who's really, really, really made his mark as a leader in a certain industry. I personally am super proud of him, super proud of you, Gordon. I mean, because saw it from the beginning, had kind of a front row seat in where you've taken this company. I think you're a great example of somebody who you do everything right. You work with integrity. You're a reliable guy. You stand by your word, and you're able to make this big pivot, and we'll get to it, because you kind of were getting screwed over by some big companies. And you says, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore, but there's an opportunity here. You can create your own company, seize the moment, and just create something incredible. So first question, and in class, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Gordon and I will probably go for about 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes. And then we'll open it up for questions, or at the end, you can just raise your hand on Zoom. So Gordon, just first, how did you get started? First of all, Gordon owns Enjoy Hair Care. Am I saying that right? Enjoy Hair Care. Do you go with a different name?
Yeah.
It's a huge brand in the beauty and hair care industry. It's been around for what, 20 years, maybe 20 something years.
2001, we launched our brand. 2001.
20 years. Yeah. What a year to celebrate 20-year anniversary.
Well, the good news is people are still taking showers.
Exactly right. And so long as they're taking showers, they're going to do stuff. So tell us about how you got started in the business.
Well, I mean, to be honest with all of you guys, I was trying to find my way. I didn't, my mom and dad didn't have a lot of money, so I wasn't able to go to a nice university. I went to Moore Park College I was going to become a fireman. And then I found out I was colorblind, and they didn't really want me because, you really need to be can't be colorblind. You can't see fires, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, that was in the 80s. And I won't tell you the real reason why they didn't want me. But anyways, because that's a different story. I was waiting tables in a restaurant. Somebody offered me a job selling Joico hair care products in Beverly Hills. And I ended up taking the job. Turns out I was really good at it. I don't know why, I was just good at it. So I got to learn from Steve Stefano, one of the owners of Joico, and then that company sold, and then which basically I didn't understand mergers and acquisitions or any of that stuff at this time in my life. And that company sells, I end up in San Diego, and now I'm selling another brand called Lanza Hair Care Products. I became the #1 salesperson in the world for Lanza. So then I ended up working for the manufacturer after that for quite some time. So now we're backing up to, this is early 80s, end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. I'm working for the manufacturer. And honestly, I had a kid on the way and I didn't know what I was going to do, and they weren't paying me enough money. So I had an opportunity to start my own little company. So, and this is for most of you guys, if you ever want to have your own business, usually you need to have working capital. You got to go with your business plan. Well, I didn't understand any of that because I obviously didn't get the degree that you guys have the opportunity to get. So I basically took all my credit cards and charged them up to the maximum amount. And I bought inventory from Lanza, and I got 11 zip codes in Orange County, basically. I had a van. I would load up my van with products, and I would drive around salon to salon and sell them. And then I'd just restock my van. Started my business out of my garage and out of a van. And then I worked my way to having a delivery driver. And then I worked my way to merging with my business partner, Patrick Dockery, in San Diego. And we started a small company called Ultimate Salon Professionals, which is actually the parent company to Enjoy Hair Care. So that company actually owns the brand Enjoy Hair Care, which I'm co-founder and vice president of. So that's kind of how I got in the industry. Honestly, I got lucky. Opportunity fell in my lap, and it just turns out I was good at sales. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, so it's probably around the time that I met you 20 something years ago. You were distributing lawns at the time, doing a great job. You basically built that. That was a great line at one point, kind of struggled. You helped build it back up. I think you did the same thing probably, I think for Nioxin. Did you do something for Nioxin? And
Well, my partner and I in 1992, Nioxin was doing zero. So they were at nothing.
Mhm.
And we got Nioxin. We redesigned all of their education. We did a deal with Supercuts. We put it in nationwide Supercuts. So now I'm on airplanes, planes, trains, and automobiles, launching the whole US for Nioxin, put them on the map, and then they took it away from us. One of the first times I mean, I could say screwed, I think, but
Yeah.
first time I ever got, somebody disrespected us in business was Nioxin. So we're making, 25, 30,000 a month, Patrick and I, and we were pretty much living life because, like I said, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. So that was a ridiculous amount of money for me. Nowadays it's not, but back then it really was. In the 90s, I was making really good money.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, the brand was pulled out from under us. So that
to
hurt.
go to a larger distributor, right?
Yes, to Mailey's.
Yeah, to Mailey's was turned into Salon Centric. And then didn't the same thing happen to you with Lonza? Lonza.
Well, that was different. For then after that, we picked up Schwarzkopf and Kenra. Which Kenra is actually how I met your mom,
right,
and your family. I put that Kenra hairspray can in the front of your salon. So,
yeah.
I wasn't selling you Lonza at that point. It was Kenra first, and then I did Lonza after that. So, because I only had South Orange County, then I got Lonza, and then we started doing more business together. But so I picked up Kenra. And I still had Lonza. We had Schwarzkopf for a while, but then we kicked them out of our warehouse because they were disrespectful. Same thing.
Mhm.
They made my business partner mad, so he kicked them out of our warehouse.
Mhm.
But we knew that Lonza was going to come out with hair color. So it was quite a few years after that, because this is like 97, 98, somewhere in there. Yeah. So we didn't even have dreams of Enjoy at that point. But I can fast forward to that if you want to know that part.
Yeah.
We basically, we're doing pretty good business. We're doing well. We start hearing through the grapevine that Lonza is going to sell the company. And we started getting all these letters from Target because they thought we were Lonza. So they would send us letters saying, hey, we want to buy your products. We want to put it in nationwide stores. We're going to put you on the end cap. We're going to buy about $1,000 per location times 1,400. You guys can do the math. We're going to buy about $1.4 million. So we get these letters, but so did Lonza.
Mhm.
So guess what they decided to do? Lonza starts selling to Target.
Yeah.
So which means, you guys, we sell directly to salons. So we don't do business with grocery stores. Our professional brands are supposed to be all about the hairdresser and the professional.
Mhm.
So, most of the like you guys go to CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Safeway, doesn't matter, or, those are grocery store products. So most of those brands that sell to them, Matrix, Redken, any of these professional brands that you see in there, they're supposed to be like black market. Well, what happens in this industry, a lot of distributors are unscrupulous. So they start selling products where they shouldn't. So the manufacturers supposedly are trying to curb it, but they don't. Most of them do it themselves. And Lonza, which turns out I caught them. So why I stopped selling Lonza was I actually sued them. And then I ended up with a lifetime contract. And it was because they sold to Target as well as Costco. They had over 900 pallets of Lonza show up at Costco, just in Orange County and San Diego alone, which was destroying my relationships with my salons. So that's why we made Enjoy. We were tired of it. We were tired of going through what we had to go through. And we just said, that's it, I'm done. We're out of it.
Perfect. So that leads me to the next question. And kind of backing up a little bit, the class. Remember how we talked about, like I give that every group, every class, or every student has a group project they're attached to, and they have to think about, I give them a horrible product to put a marketing plan together for, and think about how that product's going to get to the end user. Are you going to sell it direct? Are you going to go through a distributor? Are you going to retail it? So basically you were distributing products for somebody else. You had your territories, like you said, you had your 11 zip codes you can sell in. So it's kind of a little glimpse into, regional distribution. And then you had a great relationship at one time with Nioxin. They said, pull the rug carpet out from underneath you. You had a great relationship with Lonza, and they kind of got unscrupulous and kind of pulled the carpet out from underneath you. And then this kind of leads you to what's the next thing? What do you do now? And you decide, you and Patrick, you're going to create your own line, correct?
Exactly. So my business partner goes, "Hey, you got any money?" And I pretty much live day to day. So I didn't save that 20 grand. I spent it on boats and, having fun and traveling and all over the place. So I didn't save. My business partner used to bury his money in coffee cans. So I won't tell you where he lives. And he literally, because he didn't believe in putting his cash in the bank, because, they didn't know how we made it anyway. So I'm just kidding. We don't live our lives that way anymore. So I'm not afraid to say it. So we legitimized everything. So we don't have that anymore. But, when you're younger, you kind of, you make all this money and the last thing you want to do is give it all away. So we figured out any way we could to save our money. But we basically, my partner goes, "Hey, you got any money?" And I go, "Well, no, but I have a house and I can take a second out." So I took out a loan against my house for 100,000. So basically what I'm telling you is, both times I had to put money into my business, I did whatever it took. If you believe enough in your dreams and you believe enough in where you're going and what you're doing, then you got to go for it. And that's what I did. I mean, it's from a business standpoint, it's better to use somebody else's money, but then you might not potentially own the whole company. So my partner and I were 50-50 partners. So which is a little bit different now, but that's, we could talk about what happened with tax strategies and we were making too much money and we had to figure out other ways, but this is more of a marketing thing. So if you want to know that, we can talk about that too. But basically we just got to the point where we were over it. So we had an idea. We couldn't find, in my industry, I think I might be jumping ahead, but when you're going to make your own brands, it's not that simple. You have to find a lab that can make it for you. And we started ordering products from these various labs that make things. And being honest, they make crap. And I came from Joico and Lonza, which were on the reconstructive level. They were pretty solid brands. And it was really hard for me to just find a lab that would make it. So I had to make some phone calls, which luckily I knew a lot of people. So I finally found a lab that would help us make our brand. Then we had to do the packaging, which I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and let you ask your next question. So.
Well, I was going to ask you that first, because you would come in and you'd have this stuff in your trunk and selling out of the trunk of your car. And you started off, I think, that blue shampoo and the instant reconstructor, and the packaging was, it was something. It was, you had to put something on there.
I designed it in my living room. I never used Adobe Acrobat or Illustrator. I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
One of my buddies used to own a marketing company. He came in and he's like, he showed me about 4 things on how to use it. And I literally, my business partner wanted to put the word "enjoy." So the good news was we had a name. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Psychosomatic Parenthetics. Have you ever heard of that book?
No.
It's written by a doctor. His name's Dr. Russell.
Okay.
He used to do some studies for the government back in the 60s and 70s. He studied Pepsi and Coca-Cola. He still studied Nike versus Adidas, which might be really interesting to a lot of you. And it's, a lot of you are getting into marketing. So why is Nike so much bigger than Adidas?
I'm guessing it's the market, the packaging, the logo, all that.
Well, what's their strategy? What's their tagline?
They have a recognizable slogan.
Yeah, what is it?
Just do it.
Exactly. See, good job. That's exactly why. They were 5 times bigger than Adidas because they had "just do it." Okay. Now I can't see you anymore.
I know.
Oh, there you are. Okay. There's a lag. Okay. So, and then he studied Pepsi versus Coca-Cola. In the back in the 50s or 60s, they used to say "drink Coca-Cola." What did they change it to?
Coke is it.
Enjoy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So that's why we called our brand Enjoy.
Coca-Cola. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because my business partner went to school to become a master hypnotist. And so you study the subconscious mind and how your brain works. And when you're a hypnotist, it's not just for, the Marshall Silver and learn how to firewalk. And it's not all of that. He can actually hypnotize you if you had to go through surgery, so you can go through it without the anesthesia. So he's a lot. If you look up Dr. Russell, he's pretty interesting. So
Okay.
anyway, so he's actually a psychologist. So then he used to work with like Camp Pendleton in these mind rooms, and it's pretty interesting, but gets a little crazy. We'll go off on a tangent here. So we called our brand Enjoy because of that. So then my partner wanted to make this like hypnosis wheel around the product. You remember the little spiral thing? I wish I had it here because I still have some at my office. I could show you a picture, but I don't have it with me because I'm in Philadelphia. But it literally has a star over the J, and then it has this hypnosis wheel around it. So it was really bad. Okay. Packaging was terrible. And we put the print on it was like bigger than this welcome right here. Can you guys see how big that welcome is?
Yeah.
It was bigger than that. So it said like hydrating shampoo. It's actually our first brand. It was moisturizing shampoo. And the writing was this big because we knew guys like us who are old that we wear glasses. We weren't wearing these in the shower. So you couldn't read your bottles. So the clients were like, didn't know which one was shampoo, conditioner. So like we were thinking about how do we let people know? So we like color coded the packaging. So we had different colors on the bottles. But then when we give it to a salon, it looked like a big box of crayons. So it thought the idea was the consumer would be able to find it. But when you wanted to decorate the salon with the product line, it didn't look that good. So we never didn't quite grasp that, which is one of your questions. So
yeah.
anyway.
So let's talk about you. I mean, when you started it off, you probably didn't have that much of a marketing budget. You're kind of shoestringing it. I think you did a really smart thing in utilizing hairdressers in the marketing. You swag them out with shirts. You go to the hair shows because you knew that they were going to be the people that are going to.
What we did first is we bought 5,000 of each bottle. The one thing that's really important is when you using a contract manufacturer to fill your products, we had to have an agreement with them that we would own the formulas. And that's what most people don't own. Like if I'm talking about Numa or Pureology or all these brands, okay? The labs themselves own the formulas. The brands don't own them. Unless you have your own manufacturing facility, which we actually do now. So I'll talk about that later. But we started off, we had an agreement with our lab. Hey, when we buy 25,000 bottles of each, then we want to own our formulas. So after we reached 25,000 bottles of each product, they gave us our formula. We put them in the safe. Comes to find out that they were liars and didn't give us the actual formulas. They were full of crap. So we had to reformulate everything, which is fine. But that was our agreement. Okay. So, when we started, we didn't know we were going to make it. Like I said, I took out a second. I had to do that twice because every time we made more products, I had to put more money in. So you pay yourself back, put more money in. We just constantly went back and forth, but that way we didn't pay as much in interest. But how we differentiated ourselves is I already had probably 300 customers that were buying Enjoy. I remember we're buying Kenra and Lonza from us. So I went to my customers that were really important to me and I asked them to help me. Please give me a chance. If it doesn't sell, I'll take it back. I promise. You know me, I'll take care of you. So my customers, because of my relationships, because of how hard I worked building Orange County and San Diego, they gave me a chance. And even with the worst packaging you've ever seen, I swear to God, I wish I had it so I could show you guys how bad it was. You guys would all just laugh.
Yeah.
I wish it's in Patrick's office and he's not at the office. So I'd have him send me a picture if I could, but it's so sad. Terrible. So, so it was really only the relationships that helped us. We literally went 5,000 of each bottles, sold those and repackaged on the second round already. So then we went to a Chanel font for the logo, still today still has the same font. And then, we just put professional hair care underneath the word Enjoy. But it still has ENJOY and a Chanel font with a star over the J. It's still our logo. If you guys want to look it up online, it's enjoyhaircare.com if you want to check that out. And then, which, we've repackaged our brand. I can't tell you like 7 times. I don't know. It's a lot in 20 years. So, and I can tell you why later. But how we differentiated ourselves and how we made ourselves different was we started off by, when we first launched it, we were always about hairdressers. So on our bottle, on the back of it, we put something called hairdresser power. So that's a trademark. We own hairdresser power. And we made this logo. You can maybe even look up hairdresserpower.com. That's another website too. That's another brand. We own that. We own that trademark as well, hairdresser power. So what that meant, that was our advocate program. We went all over the country teaching hairdressers about their business and helping them with their business. Then it evolved into a color brand, which we made it our education program. And our ultimate goal was to make it into a, I want to say like the NRA. So it was going to be for hairdressers, it was designed, it was going to be a not-for-profit company to help hairdressers so they could get insurance, so they could get education, so they could get scholarships, and it would be funded by hairdressers. Like they could buy cups, or they could buy blow dryers, and we could have a whole merchandising program, which kind of like behind the chair. I know you're familiar with that, but the ultimate goal of it was going to be owned by hairdressers. We even owned a building that we were going to set up for hairdresser power. That's where it was going to be housed. Unfortunately, it just, I don't know, Patrick gets bored and goes off on a tangent. So it still exists, but our primary focus on that was to educate as many hairdressers as we could and help them with their business as best as we could. So
yeah, I think that was a smart thing. I always admired that because you took I guess you could say an underserved market that you knew was going to be the reason for your success, and as your way to give back. And they were going to promote your product because they knew you're putting yourself out there on the line for them.
Exactly. And since day one, since I first got in the industry, all I learned was technology. Mm-hmm. I never understood marketing, which, I didn't get that part, because when I got in the business, people bought science. They bought Redken. They bought they bought Joico, they bought Lonza because they were science-based, they were technology-based. Then the world starts evolving, and then salons start buying brands like Davines, or they start buying brands like Kerastase or Orbe or R&Co, which all of these brands, and some of these brands launched at Neiman Marcus, and then salons brought them in later because they were high-end, and it was at Neiman Marcus. So the industry evolved into packaging. It evolved away from technology, and those brands they're all marketing. They don't have quality products, because when you go buy inside what's in the bottle, which we still sell what's in the bottle. Mm-hmm. So that's part of what hinders us, because my business partner hasn't evolved into spending more money on the packaging, if that makes sense to you. So, but if you go by what's in the bottle, I win, because there's no products better than us. We invented sulfate-free. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of sulfate-free, but our claim to fame back in 2001 was sulfate-free and something called pH stable. Because all hair, your body, your hair, your body, your skin, all has a pH of 4.5 to 5.5. It's predetermined by your acid mantle balance, which is your sebaceous and your sediferous glands, which might sound crazy, but your skin is your largest organ on your body. So if you're constantly using products that are unhealthy for your skin, it gets into your blood. It's unhealthy for people. Like there were products that potentially cause cancer. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of parabens, but parabens were outlawed. Well, they're not outlawed, sorry. Parabens started getting a really bad name in like 2005, 6, 7. We made our products paraben free in 2008. So we started sulfate-free. We were the first paraben-free. We were the first gluten-free, soy-free. We started taking out anything that was unhealthy. Like our lists of no ingredients, most manufacturers don't care about any of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, you read some of the back of the bottles, they're toxic. There's a new ingredient called acrylates that are outlawed in Europe. And there's a brand new brand called K18 Hair that's launching right now. It's full of acrylates, and it's toxic. It's just not healthy. So we would never do anything like that, because it's really important to us. We believe in the golden rule. We want to do the right thing. And we just want to be honest and create quality products. So, but if I had some of you guys working for me in marketing, hey, I could be as big as Redken, right? I could be doing 400 million a year, 500 million a year.
You're getting there soon, someday. So talk about like the importance of the packaging a little bit, about how the colors you use, those kind of things.
Well, for us, it was always make it easy on the consumer. Okay. Because we knew the end person who bought it were like, they would come in and go, I want the pink hairspray, the pink bottle, the orange shampoo, the blue shampoo, because they remembered the color. Like if everything's dressed up in a white bottle, they come in and go, use the white hairspray. Well, there's like 9 of them. So it's kind of, which one? Shaper? I don't know what that is. Do you use Sebastian? What's that? They don't know the differences. So we always went with color coded packaging, which made the products not stand out a little bit differently on the shelf. But if they had a lot of inventory, it looked great. But if they had a small amount, it didn't look so good, because like I said, it looked like a box of crayons, literally. So packaging is huge, you guys. If I go in a salon and I have the best products inside the bottle and I send them samples of my product, because I'm here in Philadelphia, that's what I'm doing. I sampled probably 17 hair salons today with full-size products, probably $250 per account I gave away. So my investment still today is giving salons product. Like Jim said earlier, you go to hair shows and we made those. Do you guys know what those what are they called? Kendall hats, or what are those, like little ones?
Bucket hats, like Kangol type hats.
Yeah. So we might be dating ourselves saying that word, but it's coming back. So anyway, so we had these fuzzy, cowboy hats, Kendall hats. We had regular trucker hats. We had T-shirts. We had sweats. We had everything, like the Lululemon types clothes. We were selling stuff to fitness centers. We owned and we would have hair shows. People would come to our booth just to buy our shirts, buy our T-shirts, because girls wanted. I don't want to say why, but they were kind of provocative. They say, just remember to enjoy on them, or enjoy with sparkles, and anyway, so they would come to our booth just to buy that. Oh, you guys make hair products? Like, people would literally come to the booth just to buy the cowboy hat that they saw the girl walking around. Hey, where'd you get that hat? So everybody wanted.
They're doing the marketing for you out there.
Yeah, because it said enjoy. And then we gave everybody stickers, and everybody was putting stickers on the back of their car that said enjoy. So you'd be driving around and there'd be enjoy on the back of people's cars all over the place. Because we do seminars in hotels, and we'd have 300-400 people there, and everybody would get free stickers, and they'd all go put it on their car. So now they're driving all over with the stickers all over their cars. So it was marketing for us. And then we actually wrapped our cars. All of our salespeople, we wrapped their car with enjoy and hairdresser power. And we sent all the reps out with that all over their car. So next thing I know, everybody would stop you and point at you, and I love your products, and like that. So hopefully that helps you. And you understand, it's all, any way you can get brand awareness is super important.
Yep. So let's talk about, on the kind of like on the back end a little bit, when you started to how you're vertically integrated, how you actually make the product yourself. What happened with that decision?
Let me back up. We started off with 5 products. Then as soon as I put more money in, we launched our hydrating shampoo. We launched like 4 more products. And then we launched 4 more products. Then we launched 4 more products. So every time we just kept putting our money back in. We just kept doing it till we had about 14 or 15 products. Now we're doing probably 700,000 a month. So we went from 0 to about 700,000 a month in less than a year. That's when Lonza decided to, because I forgot to tell you this part. Lonza was selling their company. That's why they diverted. They were selling the company to a new company called Davex Laboratories. Robert DeLonza wanted to retire. So we didn't think Davex was going to keep us around, but when we sued Lonza, we got a lifetime contract. So I could still be selling Lonza, but we had a lifetime contract with Davex Laboratories, but Davex decided to make their brand sulfate free. So they were going to compete in my space, because prior to that, they weren't sulfate free. So I was perfectly happily selling their product line. But as soon as they wanted to compete with me, now I'm like, okay, you got to get out of here. So we kicked them out of our warehouse at that point. And that's when we were doing like 600,000-700,000 a month. We bought our first buildings, and we still had our lab. Well, then all of a sudden, the lady who owns the lab dies. She had a heart attack in her sleep.
Hmm.
So then her old partner had taken it over for their family, and he was running the company until he was trying to find a buyer, which I should have bought it, is what I should have done. But he sold it to an equity group. So a bank owned it. So what's a bank going to do? Try to make it profitable.
Yeah, try to spin it off and make a profit. Yeah.
Yeah, or they're going to try to take that business that was barely making any money and make it into a profitable entity that they own. So, which is smart on their part. But the problem was, how do they make money? They cut corners.
Mm-hmm.
They started buying raw materials, which that's the ingredients that go inside the products. They started buying them out of spec. So that means like there's a born on date and a finish date. So they were buying products that were past their date. Then they would rework it by heating it up, supposedly killing bacteria. And then we've caught them making our products out of that. And we don't cut corners. We spend the maximum amount for our raw materials because we want to have the highest quality that exists in my industry. And we by far outperform all brands. So it might be not as cool, you guys, because it's not Orbe, and you can't decorate your bathroom with it. But if you use our products, you're getting high quality for the price you're spending. So anyways, my partner Freak got pissed, and he was the first employee for Creative Nail. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, CND, Creative Nail. He was actually helped them build their lab back in the 70s. So he already knew how to make products, and he became a hairdresser later. So he just said, you know what, Gordon, we're going to build our own lab. Well, you guys, we were doing so well, we had 5 million in cash in the bank. Okay. Cash. So there's not a lot of businesses that keep 5 million in cash in the bank. So we decided to go for it, built our own lab. So now, if any of you ever want to come on a tour, you're welcome to come down. We're down in Oceanside, California. Just let Jim know, we can set it up and you guys can come and go on a tour. My business partner would even take you on a tour so you can check it out if you're interested. Cool. We love doing that. We love to show people what we really do. Don't expect Patrick to look super cool in a suit because he wears a pair of shorts, gym shorts, and a pair of gym shoes, and he'll never dress up, so he doesn't care. Just so you know, he's that guy that's a multi-millionaire, but you would never know. So because he's not flashy. He'll never own a Ferrari, put it that way. So it's not his thing. Anyway, so if you ever want to check it out, come on down. But he completely designed our lab from soup to nuts. So now you got this amazing plant, but you don't have the real formulas. So guess what you got to do? Got to hire a chemist, and you got to totally reformulate your product line, which is really fun. So we pissed off a lot of people. They were mad, but now we've got it pretty dialed in. Everything is, I'm really proud of my products. Okay. If you can't tell, if you don't believe me, just try it. So Jim asked me about some gratis. I might be able to pull something like that off for some of you guys. So
good.
Yeah. So I just need to know how many students we're talking to, because I can't see anybody. So
okay.
I'm on an iPad, you guys. So I can't, I'm not on my computer at my house. I'm on my iPad. Right. So now we've created our own brand. Well, guess what? Because Enjoy's all done, we got done reformulating it, but now I have this lab sitting here. So guess what we did next? We made more brands. Because why would I if I make this product right here for Sunglass Hut, I'd have to sell them that for like 30% above what I bank it for. But if I make a bottle of shampoo, let's say it cost me $2 and I sell it for $15, how much money am I making? Pretty good money, right? So I like that margin. So that's why we don't make products for other people. We only make our own. But to have a lab only making one brand doesn't really make sense. And if I ever want to sell Enjoy, like L'Oreal offered us 270 million for the brand 10 years ago. So we told them no, because I don't want to retire yet. I'm only 54. I know I look older because of this gray beard over here, guys, but I'm only 54. So I don't want to retire. I love what I do. Obviously, I'm in Philadelphia training a new sales rep, and I'm the owner of the company. Most companies send somebody else to do that. but I'm not going to do that because I love being in the field. I love seeing my customers. So then we built the lab, and now we own Enjoy, Kalure Hair Care Products, HBL Hair Care, Formula 18, which if you're checking that stuff out online, it's F18 Hair.
Mhm.
So we own that brand as well.
And your margins just went through the roof from going
Well-
well, but there's still overhead. There's still, I mean, the cost to start it, and you have employees on that side, but I'm sure.
Well, and I know one of your questions was distribution. Let me go back a little bit because I jumped past this. In 2006, I don't know if any of your students are familiar with a brand called Pureology. Okay, Pureology, they launched in 2001, same time I did. They brought out similar technology. Us and Pureology were the first two sulfate-free companies. We both came out at the same time. Jim Markham and Jeff Arell were the owners of that company, and Cheryl Markham. They were the owners of that company. They're dear friends of mine. Jeff Arell actually owns another brand called Numa Hair Care right now. And they also own another product line called Colorproof, which Jim Markham launched that. So basically Jim Markham owned ABBA, then he launched Pureology, then he launched Colorproof. Now he's sold that company, which that's what he's always done, is he built brands and sells them. That's what most companies do.
Mhm.
And when Pureology sold to L'Oreal, they sold for 300 million. Olaplex, which a lot of you have probably heard of that, they just sold for $1.6 billion. Okay. So yes, there's a lot of money in professional hair care products, but most of my competitors build brands, sell them, build brands, sell them. And you have an agreement usually about 2 years after you sell them that you can't be in the industry. They all come back and make another product. It's constant. We didn't build our company for that. We just wanted to be left alone, have great relationship with our customers, and be able to travel and just, make a good living and take care of our employees. So we do. So back to what I was talking about. In 2006, L'Oreal buys Pureology. So now I start getting all these phone calls from distributors across the country wanting to carry my product line. Because at the point, all the story I was telling you before, we were in California, Arizona, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, and I hired reps. I would hire a rep in Oregon, and I would go there for like 2 months. I would just fly up back and forth every week and go and open up salons with my rep. And then I would build a territory from like 0 to 25, 30,000 a month in sales. And then they would be on their own. Their job was to get the brand to 50 grand. Because if the rep's writing that number, I'm paying them 10 grand, I'm making 25,000 a month just in Oregon because I'm direct. Because my margin, I make it for $2 and I sell it for $15 or 10 or 10, 12, $13. So my margins were huge. So then I roll out distributors. How that works is, so I make the bottle for $2. If this product retails for $20, I sell it to the distributor for $5. They sell it for $10. Then the salon sells it for $20. So the distributor margin made it so I had to sell a lot more bottles to make money. So we were doing 2.5, 3 million in sales per month. And that was with distributors. So I can sell 800,000 a month now and make more than I did with distributors because of the margins. But you have to decide, do I want to sell my company for hundreds of millions of dollars and have a G3 or to have my own plane? Or do I want to drive a pickup truck? Just kidding, trying to make you laugh. So it just depends on what your goals are, okay? I would love to realize the sale someday. So, but I own my partner and I own 5 buildings down in San Diego, which is our, so we don't owe any money to anybody. All of our bottles are paid for. All of our caps are paid for. We have no debt. We live an amazing life and we don't have the stress that my competitors do. So COVID hits, guess what? I'm fine. I kept all my employees. I didn't let anybody go. They all stayed on. We take care of them because you know what? They're our family. So I know I went off on a tangent there, but
no, that's awesome. That's great. So where do you want to go? Where are we gonna actually with the business? What's the next step? I mean, you just basically said you're very happy with where it is now. You've had some,
No, well, we want to go international, but we also, you guys, got into tax problems. I was telling you about that earlier. We were making too much money, and we had so much money in the bank. The government wanted it. So we had to figure out how not to give it to them, because they do such a good job with it. It's really a good idea to give them more in taxes, right? Anyways, sorry, I'm a little pissed off at them right now. So basically, we were scared. So we were like, what are we going to do? We owe like $2 million. We don't want to give that. So we had to come up with a new tax strategy. So we learned about this thing called ESOP, which is really stupid now, by the way, don't do it. An ESOP is when we actually took 15% of my share, so 15% of mine, so I 50-50, remember? So 15% of my shares and Patrick's shares started a new corporation that was an ESOP. And we gave that to our employees. So like Kenny, Kenny owns a percentage of our company. So he's worth probably 1.2 million in his ESOP. That's his retirement, okay? And we gave that to them, you guys. So it's not like we funded a 401k. They got a percentage that they put in and we put in, which is amazing. That's a great way to go too. But this way they owned part of our company, and they really didn't have to take out 100,000 against their house to do it. My partner and I, we sold our shares, those 15 shares, to that corporation, but I've never been paid for it. So I got this note, I'm owed 750 grand, but I don't know if I'll ever see it. I don't know, but it became our employees. So now we're at the point now where we have a lot more strategies with our finances. So we're actually getting ready to pay out our reps. So all of our employees, the 30 people, or the 30% we're going to buy those shares back and we're going to pay them. So all of those people can take that money and put it into their retirement. And we're going to start some new IRAs and stuff for them, because we have a full team that does our financial planning.
And that does not happen in this industry. People have to realize that these kind of things don't happen in the hair care industry.
Yeah, if you get into an industry where you're expecting your pensions to take care of you, like in California, you're going to have a problem, because it's going to blow up, you guys. There's going to come a time where they're not going to be able to write those checks. So, taking a job like that's kind of scary. So it's better to invest yourself in your IRAs and 401ks, and if you go into annuities, they're really safe, but your rate of return is going to be minimal, which I'm sure you guys are taking classes on all this stuff. So, I mean, I had to pay people because I didn't go to school for it. So I just paid the guy. So I know the guy. Yeah. So, if you get to the point where you have enough money, you just pay somebody else to teach it. So,
exactly.
So that's kind of what, and I trust, and one of my best friends does it for me. He's a CFP. So I got that covered. So anyways, so where we're going to go next, right now we're buying out the ESOP, so we can't invest, but we're going to go after international. I forgot to tell you guys this. I went into all over the world. We went into Sweden, we went into Israel, we went into all over the world. So we went from nothing. We were at 2.5 million a month in sales. We were going like this. But when I shipped to Israel and Jordan and all these countries, the products all came back and went to Target.
Oh gosh, they diverted.
So here's the good news. Target wants it. So if my salons just stop buying enough, then I can just ship it to Target and I'm good. Okay, so I'll end cap it and I'll be good. Okay, so I could still be fine. And I just let everybody go and ship pallets and I'm over. It's over. So, but we don't want that. So hence why we've repackaged. Every time our product showed up at Safeway, CVS, Walgreens, here's the good news. We made it to the point that the grocery store wants to buy it. So that means it's a brand. Okay, we do about 800,000 a month on Amazon. So that's how much is retailed on Amazon. So our brand is strong, and we have zero marketing on Amazon. We have not tried. We do not do business with them. We've avoided it because we believe in salons. We believe that hairdressers are the backbone of this industry. So we don't want to disrespect them. So we do everything we can to keep the integrity, even though they don't trust us, because our products have shown up at Safeway, CVS, Walgreens,
they think it's you, and they've seen this dance before, this song and dance before. Yeah,
they've been lied to a million times. So you can only get lied to so many times before you have to kick him out. Okay, because if he's beating you or he's cheating on you, it's time to get rid of him. So that's kind of how they feel. They feel like I'm cheating on them, And I don't blame them for feeling that way because that's the way they felt over the years. So, but we always make good on it. We make sure it gets taken care of. We got rid of the diversion. So, I mean, yes, Target calls me all the time wanting to buy it. Equity companies call me all the time trying to buy my company or give me money because they want to own a percentage of it. So if I needed 50 million, I could get 50 million in 20 minutes. I just call TSG, the Shansby Group, Chuck Esserman. Go ahead and Google that. They own Muscle Milk. They own Yarrow Chips. They're huge. So they've been trying to buy us forever. So, so what our next goal is to roll out Canada, and we're going to go back international. But I'm going to have to physically get on planes and go visit everybody, which my business partner didn't let me do that because I have to go vet them, make sure they're honest, make sure they're good. I'm not going to let them buy too much. Like we were shipping $400,000 or $500,000 containers that had to reach their destination. So, which means I had it completely bonded. It had to physically be delivered to their warehouse. They still took off the tags, turned it back around, ship it back to New York, and it goes off to Target. And most people will go, why would they spend all that money on shipping? Well, if it's a $400,000 order that they could sell for 800 grand, what's 15 grand in shipping?
Exactly.
And they make money in 20 minutes. So who doesn't want to make 200-300 grand and not even do anything?
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Our brand's popular is the problem. So it's a good problem to have, but I've got to find the right people. So that's really the goal next, is to roll out one by one and start launching. And then eventually I'll build a plant and make because it doesn't make sense to ship a liquid over the ocean. Like they don't make they make Coca-Cola locally. They have a plant everywhere.
Yep. Just ship the
Like
syrup. That's a Coca-Cola. Right. Or not,
there's one
right
down the street from Chapman. I mean, literally like 8 minutes away because I know my daughter's dance studio is right next to it. So I live right by you guys, by the way. I live in Orange.
So good question. We got some good questions coming up here. Cade, why don't you go ahead and ask your question? Name, year, and your major, and then Axel, year after that.
All right. Hi, how's it going? I'm Cade Becker. I am a strategic and corporate communications major, and I'm a senior.
Awesome.
So my question is, what made you want to be one of the first brands to implement safer ingredients for people? Because in hindsight, it seems obvious, but it seems like it'd be really difficult to implement these changes in real time.
Honestly, when we first started our company, it was all based on chemistry of hair and how to repair the hair. My business partner ended up he's always had a lot of issues with his hands, like because he's a hairdresser. So when your hands are your tools as a hairdresser. So when you're at the shampoo bowl and you're washing people's hair, his hands used to almost crack and bleed because he worked at Aveda concept salons. And, Aveda is natural and healthy. Just because it's natural and healthy, it's a great marketing plan. But 70% of people are allergic to essential oils. Essential oils are great for certain things, but not everybody a lot of people have a lot of reactions to them. So and my business partner's that guy. He also has celiac disease. If he eats the wrong foods, he gets sick. He's never done drugs. He's never smoked marijuana. He's never drank ever in his life. He was into martial arts. So his body's very sensitive. Like I've never even seen him take an Advil. So that's the way he lives his life. He goes to holistic doctors. He lives that lifestyle. So our brands have evolved into that lifestyle. Like our latest brand is called Enjoy Holistics. It's all about what's not in it. No sulfur, no sulfates, no propylene glycol. There's no gluten, no soy, no parabens. The fragrances are 100% hypoallergenic. So they're made synthetically. A lot of people hear it's synthetic. I don't know what's synthetic. Well, it's made synthetic to be non-reactive with your skin because a lot of people have issues with fragrances. So our goal was to make it smell awesome, but have it be nobody would be allergic to the way it smells or that ingredient, but they could be allergic to a nut or something else that's in it. But our goal was to make it as healthy as we could, if that makes sense. So
I have it in my shower right now. It's good stuff.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
Did I answer your question? So
Axel, go ahead. Ask your question. Name, major, year, question.
Hey, Gordon. My name is Axel Stone. I'm a communication major. I'm a junior. And I was just wondering, I thought it was pretty cool that you're like still sewing your feet, like with the company involved and stuff. I was wondering if like a certain life event did that to you, or you've always been that way.
No, when we launched our brand, um, my job has always been finding our salespeople, training the salespeople, and then I just love being in the salons. My business partner is also in the salons. He travels around. We own TV shows too. We used to own one called Health Beauty Life. That was his way of marketing, but really he was bored and he was just wanted something else to do. So we created our own TV show. It was on Bravo, it was on We. And he used to fly all over the world filming our TV show, which wasted 14 million in cash. So because he created a magazine. It was just small. Anyways, okay. But
What
you can
show
check
was
it out.
What show was on
H-
Bravo?
it was called Health Beauty Life. If you go on to type in healthbeautylife.com or Google Health Beauty Life, you'll see my partner Patrick. And then we shot another TV show called the HBL Challenge or Health Beauty Life Challenge. So you can watch that one. Actually just finished airing. We paid for paid programming on that one. So we aired that one on Saturdays like an infomercial. It's another way we were trying to connect hairdressers. It was a reality TV show, but we had to stop shooting it because of COVID. So now we're doing something different where we bring in salons and we do makeovers with them, and they physically sit and we actually they bring in a client, they create a look on that client and we shoot it in segments so we can make it into YouTube videos and Instagram marketing. So we're getting about, I don't know, 40 or 50 posts out of each shoot. And for a hairdresser to come in and do a full photo shoot with full cameras, everything would be about $15,000 to $20,000 to do that. So we do it for free for them. We create all of the content and then we give it to them for free. But to answer your question, back in 2003, I started rolling out Northern California. And then I started going into Arizona, Washington. I went into Arizona, Las Vegas. I went into Utah. I just went to the five states on the West Coast, and I hired my own people and I went out and trained them. Well, then I would go back constantly to help them work on new business. And my business partners and my agreement was that I would train all reps. And then it got to where I was traveling 3 weeks a month, and that got hard on my marriage. So my business partner, and honestly, I mean, until COVID, I was still traveling 2 weeks a month. So I would be home a week, travel a week, home a week, travel a week. I lived that life for 17 years. Executive platinum on American Airlines. But then when COVID hit, my partner's like, you know what? I want you to stay home and I want you to manage the sales team. I want you to do Zoom meetings. And now it's evolved into me calling my customers. So I literally sit at home in front of my computer and I call 150 to 200 of my customers a day. And I talk to them and just see what I can do different, if there's anything I can do to help them. And so I physically call all 9 to 10,000 of my active customers minimum once a year. But I'm also certain areas, I actually call them once every 2 to 3 months to check in on. So that's kind of my lot in life right now. But I got shorthanded. I lost a few of my salespeople that I didn't replace during COVID. So I ended up needing a few people. So that's why I'm in Pittsburgh right now. In a couple of weeks, I have to go to Hawaii to train my new person there, which we shouldn't be too rough. I'm planning on bringing those golf clubs. And then I got to go to Dallas after that, but I won't be traveling that much. I'm really just going to go out and train all my new salespeople, because now I'm increasing their sampling budget, because it's cheaper for me to give them more samples than for me to spend. If I spend $3,000, my cost on samples, that's a lot. That's a lot of product. It's a lot of potential accounts. So it's cheaper to enable them to to give them more tools than for me to get on a plane. It doesn't make sense. I just need to manage them better. So.
Do you guys realize how smart it is that Gordon calls, the owner of the company calls directly his customers, the salon? Because you don't realize, but when you're in that world, you're in that space, people are knocking on your door, well, normal pre-COVID and post-COVID, and have deals for you, I want to sell this product for you. And sometimes you're limited to real estate, like how much space you have to display product. And they will tell you, we'll take that stuff off the shelf. We'll give you money back for it. And then who knows where it's going to be, where it's going to go. It's going to end up in like somebody's going to put in a
Well, I
Target.
used to sell it on Amazon, but
Yeah.
unfortunately I can't do that anymore because they won't let me.
Right.
So I used to sell all my trade outs. We call them trade outs.
Yeah.
I'd sell Redken. I'd sell everybody else's stuff. I'd sell it at regular salon retail price. So if I traded out, like, let's say this bottle cost me $2 and I traded it out because the value is 10 and I traded it out for $10 worth of Redken, I can sell that product for $20 on Amazon. So I didn't lose any money. I made money on trade outs. So it was awesome. But now I can't sell that product anymore because they won't let me. I can only sell my own products on Amazon. So Amazon changed the game. So now I sell it to some guy who picks it up for $5 a bottle, and he sells it on like eBay and jet.com. And so he still is able to sell it. You remember my delivery guy, Dan?
Oh yeah, Dan.
He buys everything.
Okay.
So I sell it all to him. So he'll buy a pallet for $500. So, and then it just disappears. So into the wind. But we used to donate to battered women's shelters, which we love doing that. And help. We would donate hair color, stuff like that, so people could get makeovers, so they could get a job. And but the problem is those places want me to pay them to ship it to them.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what they do with it when it gets there.
Right.
So I can't pay them to take stuff from me that I'm giving to them for free. So we can't do that anymore. But I would if I could.
Yeah, but as I say, it's so smart that you call the salons directly, because the loyalty that you create by those phone calls is immeasurable. I mean, the loyalty that those people will have.
They're blown away when I call them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes they don't realize, because I'm like one of the owners of the company. They're, yeah, can I help you? It's like, well, I hope so. Is Stephanie available?
Yeah.
She's doing hair. Can I see what you want? You know, it's like kind of funny. And I
Right.
try to get them on the phone, but and then usually they'll call me back and tell me they're sorry or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, right now I'm still calling them from New Year's. So I'm calling them in March saying Happy New Year. You know, thank you for your business. They're like, it's New Year's was in January. Why are you still calling me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But
It takes a long time to call 9,000 people. You know, it's not
Right.
that simple.
But it's that personal touch that it goes
Yeah.
goes way far above and beyond. Any other questions? Anybody else have any questions for Gordon? Anybody? I have probably about 900 more for Gordon. Boom, boom, boom. How large is the business? I think I got pretty much everything here. Anything else? Any parting words of wisdom for our students who are getting ready to go take over the world?
You know,
How about the
my biggest.
importance of relationships too? I think that's a big one.
Well, that's number one.
Yeah.
Okay. I was teaching my rep that today, actually, because I was asking her, I go, so how do you're a salesperson and you're calling on salons, and you go in the salons every, like when I first got in the business, some salons I was there every week.
Mhm.
Some salons I was there every 2 weeks. Now it's different. Like the salons don't want to see you like they used to, because they have instant messenger. When I got in the business, we still had pagers. Okay.
Yeah.
Like cell phones didn't exist. You had to pull over and go over to the payphone. Okay. Then I got the big cell phone. It was like a big brick, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then they got really small, and now they're like huge. And then you got Superman iPads. And anyway, so technology's evolved. It changes your life. So you have DM, you have instant messaging, you got Facebook Messenger, you got email, which in my industry, hairdressers don't check their emails, so don't even bother. Just DM them and check, you know, go on social media, or just pick up the phone and call. That's my thing, because I still am that guy. I want to talk to you. So, but when I was training my rep today, I go, look, if you're doing sales calls and you go in the salons, you know, once every couple of weeks, you're spending 20 minutes with them. And really, you don't always get to talk to them because they have clients. So how long is it going to take for me to make a relationship? It could take years to get to know them. But if you do a product knowledge class, or you do an event, or you do a treatment day, or you do something where you're spending time with them, like a color class, a lightening class, a straightening class, a hair extension class, all of that, you're spending an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours worth of time with those stylists without clients. That's how you create relationships. It's figuring out a way to spend time with them. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Doesn't matter what you do. My wife's in the pharmaceutical world. So guess what they do? Lunch and learns. Because all doctors' offices are closed between 12 and 2.
Bring them food, feed them, lunch and learns. Yep, exactly.
Bring them food. You used to be able to take them to Pelican Hill and go play golf.
Right.
But you can't do that anymore because they won't let you. They won't even let you give away a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors' offices all had like pens from all these pharmaceutical reps. They had notepads.
Mhm.
They had nothing. They're not allowed to give away anything. So because they took all that away, because they thought that they were buying relationships, which they probably were, but
Yeah.
I mean, who cares? Now the guy that made the pens doesn't get to make pens anymore. Right? So, all these choices that our government makes sometimes hurts small businesses too. So my suggestion is if you're really good at relationships, sales is awesome. It's so much fun. I love it. I mean, but I'm not selling anything. I believe in what I have. If you don't believe in what you have in your bag, you can't sell it. You can't. So if you don't love it and you're not passionate about it, find something else. If you don't love people, don't have a job that deals with people. Like I always tell hairdressers, well, you're not a very nice person. So you might want to do something else. Because this is not for you. Because this is a relationship business. You don't go to your hairstylist because they're amazing. A lot of times you go for the conversation. And yes, your hair has to look great, but you don't go back to them if they don't do a good job on you, if they don't take care of you. It's relationships. It's really number one in what I do. So
yeah, because I think if people like you and you're passionate about what you do and you've got a decent product, they'll give you a chance.
And I'll do anything to help them, by the way.
Absolutely.
Anything I have to do. And if I can't help them, I'll buy my stuff back. I'll write them a check. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever I have to do, because I guarantee everything I sell. It's just part of how I am. So
perfect. Any last questions from anybody before I let Gordon go?
Hopefully I didn't bore you guys. Hopefully it was interesting to you.
Oh, everybody's shaking their head
I could share one more thing with you guys because you guys are all in marketing.
Mhm.
I have a good friend of mine. He worked for Redken.
Mhm.
He was one of their top educators in the world. He's been doing hair for like 40 something years. He was one of his first clients was Marilyn Monroe, which maybe that's kind of cool. Okay. He studied under the guy who created her look, which obviously back then her name wasn't Marilyn Monroe. He did her platinum look. Well, Dennis Gebhardt became a educator for Redken. Then he taught at the Redken Exchange in New York for over 25 years. Well, he became a chemist, and he actually was one of the team that invented Shades EQ, which most of you people in here maybe had it on your hair.
Yep.
Shades EQ and color gels for Redken. He was one of the chemists and hairdressers that rolled those product lines out. Well, here's where the marketing comes in. They created a brand. They told the marketing department what the brand worked, how it worked, and what it did. When they came back with how they were going to sell it, it didn't say anything that was remotely close to how the product worked or did. It had nothing to do with it. Because sometimes you could have the best idea, but the idea itself needs to be marketed. And you have to have people that understand why consumers are interested in it. It has to be trending. Like right now, holistics is trending. But when we launched holistic products in 2006, and I walked in hair salons and said it's gluten-free and soy-free, they looked at me and thought we were nuts and told us to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what are you talking about? Is this a cult? Are you going to come in here with a candle and we're all going to hold hands and stare at the candle? That's what they thought, literally. Not kidding. Because, and as soon as I say it's MEA free, TEA free, sulfate free, propylene glycol free, glycerin free, sodium hydroxide free, it was gluten free. They looked at me and thought I was nuts because I sounded like I was speaking Spanish. But if I say that stuff now, a lot of people will know what that means because the marketing's there now. The world caught up to us. We're the guys that invent it, and then the world catches up later. That's kind of what my business partner does because he had a 197 IQ when he was 7. The guy's a genius. He's ridiculously smart. Pretty awesome. Google Patrick Dockery if you want. It's pretty Dockry. He's pretty interesting. So.
Good guy. Well, Gordon, I can't thank you enough. I could ask you probably 900 more questions, but our class wraps up here at 5:15 and or 8:15 for you. So thank you so much. I'm gonna because I know you live close. Do you like cheesecake?
Well, I'm diabetic, so it's
Oh, you're-
sugar free. I'm good.
Okay. Oh, my wife makes a great cheesecake. I'll
Oh,
okay. So
well, yeah. I mean, I love it. I can only have a couple bites, but
Perfect,
you know,
perfect.
I have two daughters that would dig it.
perfect. I will
So,
drop.
but how many students are in your class?
I have 2 sections. I have 75 total students.
Okay,
Okay. So
cool.
we
I
can
can get you guys some stuff.
oh,
I'll get you guys some holistics. I'm
perfect.
probably not going to give you guys all 10-ounce bottles, okay? But I'll hook you guys up.
Oh, nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll make sure that I get everything to them. So,
Cool.
and I will drop off some a freshly baked cheesecake pretty soon here. We'll figure out a time that we can coordinate.
Yeah, well, just let me know, and then I can, because I'm home for the next couple of weeks. I don't go. I go to Hawaii on the 5th,
Perfect.
and then I come right back home and I go to Dallas. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, so we
Perfect.
can do
All
that.
right.
We
Sounds
can
great.
meet up in the next couple of weeks because I'll order a bunch of stuff for you guys, and
Awesome.
you guys can try it out.
Perfect. That's I like that. So thank you so much, Gordon. I can't thank you enough, and I'll reach out to you and we'll coordinate a drop off pickup.
You guys have a great day. Nice
Thanks.
to meet you.
Take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care, buddy. See you
Thank
later.
you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, everybody. That was the one and only Gordon Fletcher from Enjoy. Great guy. I've known him for a long time. I got to stop recording here. We're at 5:15.